friends, welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title of this video, today we are doing ESL contracts in Korea, things that you need to make sure are there and things that you need to look out for, any red flags if you ever see those in your contract. First thing that I would suggest, while you're still in the interviewing stage, before you've even signed the contract, the first thing you need to go do is go onto I'll link the website in the description box, is go onto Blacklisted Hagwon's site in Korea and you type in the name of your school that you're interviewing with or that has offered you a contract, so you can see if you are about to make the biggest mistake of your life. Those schools are there for a reason, and if the school you are interviewing with or wanting to sign with is on there, I would suggest it's probably not a good idea signing with that school. But if you feel like you are a Bogota and you want a challenge and you want to sign with a blacklisted school, power to you. But if you want to have a good time in Korea, that is the first thing you need to look out for. Okay. And now they've offered you a contract and you want to make sure that they are abiding by all the laws. So even though we are foreigners, the labor laws apply to us, and our schools and our directors and our bosses, they need to comply with those rules. So the very first thing that you need to make sure that you have and that is stipulated in your contract is your salary. So I would say for a first timer, no experience with any other degree other than a teaching degree, I would say do not, but this is just me, you can make your own decisions at the end of the day, I would say do not accept anything less than 2.3. Please, I am begging you. A school offering you 2.1 or 2.2 in 2025 is not a school that is going to treat you well. They are going to overwork you and you are going to be underpaid. And it is not a school that is going to value you. So I would say, even though 2.3 is low, see, this is the hard thing, because it's like, do I take a low salary or do I stay at here and wait for a better job? That's something you'll have to weigh up on your own. If you genuinely are not finding anything else and everything else about the school is great, you can take it 2.3. But 2.3, 2.4 is generally, 2.5 is generally what a new ESL teacher coming into Korea who has no experience and who has no teaching degree can get. Anything lower than that, anything lower than a 2.3, personally I wouldn't take it. So 2.3, salary of 2.3 must be clearly stipulated with the date that you are going to be paid, whether it's on the 1st or the 10th or the 15th or the 30th. They need to clearly stipulate when they are going to pay you, so that if they don't pay you on that date, then you have grounds to be like, this is in our contract, you said you were going to pay me on this date and you haven't paid me. Okay. And also things like overtime, what is the overtime rate and all of those things, like how does overtime work and how much will you be paid for overtime. Next thing that needs to be clearly stipulated in your contract is your working hours. And in Korea with teaching, there's a difference between working hours and teaching hours. So most of the time they'll tell you these are your working hours, for example from 9 to 6, or if you work later in the day from like 1 to 8 or 1 to 9 or 2 to 9 or 3 to 10, whatever it is. There are working hours and then there are teaching hours. Working hours will usually be like around 30 hours a week and around like 22 hours of actual teaching hours. So they need to stipulate between your working hours and your teaching hours, because besides teaching, you need prep time. You need time to prep for your classes, and that needs to be stipulated how much those will be. And most of the time we don't work on weekends, but again, it's like, if you will be expected to work on weekends, they need to lay that out. So if they ask you one day to work on a weekend and it's not in your contract, you can be like, but that's not in my contract. Next thing, we have vacation days. The legal minimum number of vacation days that you have in Korea are 10 days. If your school is offering you 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 days, that is illegal. It is illegal. The minimum is 10. Is the minimum 10 or 11? If it's 11, I'll write 11. If it's 10, I'll write 10. But I think it's think it's 11, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 11 days minimum. So if they're offering you less, that is illegal. And if they are doing illegal things like that, they're probably shady and they're going to treat you badly. So 11 days minimum. And usually at my school, I know this isn't for every school, but it is for most school. At my school, those days you cannot choose them. The school will choose them for you, because they usually close or have something during that week, like winter vacation and summer vacation. So it's 5 days in winter, 5 days in summer, and you usually can only take those days during a specified week. I know some schools you can take them whenever you can, but in my case, it was clearly stated that it's only during certain months, because that's when they have winter vacation and summer vacation. If you are not okay with having your vacations chosen for you, maybe that's something you can think about and decide to not sign. Oh, and all those 11 days have to be paid. It is paid vacation. Paid vacation plus red days. So you have your vacation, which is your 11 days. Oh, and I've heard that there are some schools who include weekends with those vacation days. If your working days do not include weekends, your vacation days cannot include weekends. So please, some schools will try to be like, okay, 5 days, and they'll give you like 3 days during the week and Saturday and Sunday. That is illegal. You cannot have vacation on a weekend, because you normally would not work on those days. Okay. And then we have our red days. So we have vacation and red days. Red days are like public holidays. You need to get all your red days off. Generally, you need to get those days off. If you don't get those days off, sometimes, I think there was 1 or 2 days where we didn't get last year, but they paid us, and you need to be paid 1.5 times more than your normal daily rate for that day if they make you work. They can't force you to work, but if you do decide to work, and if they need you to work on that day, you have to get paid more than you would normally get paid. Okay, then another important thing is housing. Housing. 99% of schools should give you free housing. I've never heard of a school in South Korea not providing free housing. Usually they will either provide you free housing that is in walking distance to your school. In my case, my apartment is not in walking distance to my school, so they give me a travel allowance. So that's another thing. If you have to travel, you can ask them, oh, are you going to like give me a travel allowance, because your school generally should be in walking distance, so you don't have to like pay for the bus and stuff. So it should be free housing. Usually you have to pay for your own utilities, like your own gas and water and electricity and things like that. That's normal. But the rent and the deposit and stuff, that is not your responsibility. It is the school's responsibility. And you need to, before you even sign, like ask them for pictures of the apartment. Is it an office tower? Is it an apartment? Like, is it a studio? What is it? And generally they should give you a bed. Most apartments have washing machines, so bed, washing machine, yeah, it will vary. The only thing I got was a bed, but some schools I think will give you like a microwave. Yeah, but a bed you should have. It's usually a single bed, and like washing machine, all those things are usually included in the apartment. So if you don't want to accept their free housing, they should give you a housing allowance, which is usually like 350 to 400k in most cases, and then you can then look for your own apartment and then take that allowance and pay with that allowance. Usually you would have to add more. If you want a nicer apartment, you might have to take out more from your own pocket to pay for that allowance. And the next thing that you should have in your contract is airfare. So again, 99% of schools will pay for your tickets to come to South Korea, and when your contract is over, they will pay for your ticket to go back to your home country. Most schools won't pay up front, they will just reimburse you. I think it's just the safety thing on their end, so they can make sure that you actually like come to their school and like work. So I got paid with my first paycheck. Basically, they reimbursed me. Sometimes they'll have like a limit to how much they give you. I just ask about that, but most schools should give you a ticket, at the very least a ticket to come. Some only give to come and not to come back, so just check with that. Okay, and then we have like our insurances. So we have health insurance, pension, and then severance. So health insurance, your school should contribute 50% and you contribute the other 50%. Pensions, South Africans do not have a pension in South Africa, so you should not be paying towards that at all. And then we have another payment, which is severance. You should get your severance at the end of your contract. So once you finish your 12 months contract, you are entitled to severance, which is the amount equal to 1 month of your salary. And then obviously the length of the contract. How long is your contract? It will usually be 12 months. Probation period, like training, is training paid? If your school is telling you you have if your school is telling you you have unpaid training, what do you mean I'm gonna be working for free? They are training you to work at their school. They should pay you. My training was how long was my training? I don't remember how long my training was. I think it was a week or like 3 days, and I got paid for those days. So your school should pay you for training because you're going to be working for them. Like, that is work. You're waking up every day and you're going to work for a full 8 hours of training. They should pay you. And then again, it's like, is there a probation period? How long is it? You know, what happens after the probation period? Things like that. And then, are there any penalties if you break the contract? Obviously, if you don't finish your 12 months, you won't get your severance. And then just ask if there are any other things that, like, if you leave early, what will you have to do? Will you have to reimburse them? Will you have to give back their flight tickets? Things like that. Here are a few red flags that I want you to look out for. Number one is if your working hours and your teaching hours are not clearly stipulated. If they say things like flexible, or if they say, I don't know, if there's just weird things where it's not like clearly stated, where it's not like 30 hours working, you work from this time to this time every day, you work from this time to this time every day. If you have like vague working hours, red flag. Number two, if they are not mentioning your insurances, if they don't mention pension, again, pension, South Africans don't have pension, but if they don't mention pension or health insurance or severance, things like that, red flag. Oh, and again, if your recruiter or the director is like telling you to sign on like super quickly and they're pressuring you, again, take your time to go through the contract, because recruiters, I feel like they'll be like, yeah, like, you guys are South African, like, this is a great job, like, sign quickly and it will be the worst job of your life. I feel like they try to scare us, so don't be pressured into signing, because you'll sign a horrible contract and you'll come here and have to do a midnight run, or you'll come here and they won't pay you, and then you have to go to the labor office, you have to like file a complaint. So it's better to take your time, make sure you are happy with the contract. Again, like, if your training is unpaid, if they're doing like small things that are like red flaggy, they are most likely not good people. The director is most likely like trying to get the most money. They're probably going to overwork you and underpay you, and they're going to do a lot of things under the table. Okay, I'm going to close this video out now because I don't have space. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I will answer you. And I think one thing I forgot to mention was sick leave. Most Hagwans, I think, legally are required to give you 3 days of sick leave, but it's not paid sick leave. So some schools will say completely unpaid, some schools will say 80% or 70% or 50% unpaid. So again, just check with that. Make sure you have some kind of sick leave in your contract. Again, thank you so much for watching, guys. I know this process is hard, it's frustrating, it's long. I know, but you will get here and you will also live your best Korean life. Pasha, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.